3-part breathing, and leg extension exercise. So starting from lying on your back, go ahead and bend the knees so the heels come up toward the hips, and have your feet wider than your hips. If you're on a mat, they'll be about mat width distance. Let your knees fall into each other. Make any other minor adjustments in your lower back or hips that make you feel comfortable. We're just going to take a moment here to focus on our natural breathing pattern. And you might notice just by bringing attention to the breath, your inhalations and exhalations will start to lengthen a little bit. And next we'll start to work on 3-part breathing, or some people will call it yogic breathing. And there's 3 areas in the torso that you're going to draw your attention to. And we're going to do them one at a time first, and then you'll see how they link up all together. So let's start by bringing the fingertips to the lower navel area below the belly button. And with each breath in, see if you can expand that area that your fingertips are resting on. And as you exhale, allow the navel to draw back toward the spine. It's nice and easy, keeping the breath pretty comfortable, so you're not forcing the breath in, but it feels more like you're allowing the breath in. This can sometimes be challenging for people to get this kind of movement in the navel area. So if it is challenging for you, I recommend that you stay here until you feel pretty confident that you can get this expansive feeling in the navel as you breathe in. Otherwise, you can slide the hands up towards the middle of the rib cage. The second area is referred to as intercostal breathing. And you still want to bring movement into the lower belly as you inhale. But it's going to be more towards the beginning of the inhale. And then towards the middle and end of the inhale, see if you can create some movement in your rib cage. And at first you'll feel movement in the front of your rib cage more, but if you've done this exercise a few times, see if you can get some awareness and movement possibly in the sides and even the back of your rib cage. And if it's challenging for you to get the movement both in the lower navel area and the rib cage, I recommend staying here. Otherwise, we'll slide the hands up a little bit further where you can cross the wrists over the chest, place the fingertips on the collarbones. And this will be the last part to this breathing technique, and it's referred to as clavicle breathing. At the beginning of the inhalation, you'll feel the navel just below the belly button move. Towards the middle of the inhalation, you'll feel the rib cage expand. And then right at the very end of the inhalation, see if you can get some movement, or at least some awareness up toward the collarbones, and maybe even around the shoulder blade area. Now, if this last part makes you feel anxious in any way, or if there's any asthmatic conditions, stay with the lower abdominal breathing and the rib cage breathing. Otherwise, follow through with your breath. Lower belly expands at the beginning of the inhalation. Rib cage expands in the middle of the inhalation. And at the very end, the collarbones and shoulder blades. Now, as you exhale, you'll feel this order in reverse, but it will be probably in a looser fashion. So you'll feel the collarbones depress at the beginning of the exhalation, the rib cage deflate back toward the midline, and then the lower belly will draw back toward the spine at the very end of the exhalation. Now let's go ahead and let the arms go alongside the body with the palms flipped up. Without thinking about the technique too much, see if you can still continue with this type of breathing. But let it be really comfortable. Eventually it will start to feel more natural to you. And in general, when you're practicing physical poses or dynamic movement, you want to stay conscious of the breath and have a comfortable, full, meaningful breath. Next thing we'll do is bring the feet in a little closer toward the midline, keeping them close towards your heels. But then we're going to bring the right knee up toward the chest, and you're going to interlace your fingers underneath the knee around the back of your thigh. And let's take 1 or 2 breaths here. So you're using your back muscles to draw the thigh in a little closer to the navel and the knee a little closer to the chest. Feel like you're letting go of gripping on the exhalation, and you'll probably feel the belly press into the thigh as you inhale. On your next exhalation, go ahead and straighten the leg. So the foot's going to go straight up toward the sky. Now continue breathing here and find a comfortable stretch. You want to become familiar with where the boundary is in the back of your leg. And if you're feeling a lot of tension right behind the knee or in the lower back, bend your right knee a little bit more. So you want to feel the stretch more in the belly of the muscle there. So right in the middle of the back of the thigh, more so than behind the knee or in the lower back. Then we're going to move dynamically between these 2 points. So your inhalation, again, using your back muscles, you'll draw the thigh in toward the navel and bend the right knee. And as you exhale, you'll straighten the right leg and find the stretch for the back of the thigh. And you'll go between these 2 points, and we'll do 4 more. If you're familiar with this practice and you're looking for more of a stretch in the calf muscle, on the end of your exhalation, you might press through the heel a little more and draw the toes back toward the knees. Just being mindful, again, of overstretching, and let the repetition of the movement open up the muscles in the joints. Make sure you're following through with your breath, and we'll end here on an inhalation with the knee bent. And then bring the sole of the right foot down, and we'll change sides. Bringing the left knee in toward the chest, using your back muscles, getting familiar with the stretch here for the lower back. And on your next exhalation, go ahead and straighten the left leg. Take at least 1 or 2 full breaths here. Sometimes one side might feel a little more mobile or more restricted than the other. So you want to become familiar with how both sides feel. And then when you're ready, on your next inhalation, you can bend the left knee again, draw the knee in toward the chest, again using the back muscles. You'll feel the navel press into the thigh. And as you exhale, you'll straighten the leg. And at the very end of the exhalation, you can even draw the navel in toward the spine a little more. And feel like your breath initiates the movement, and your inhalation and exhalation are maybe 1 or 2 seconds longer than the movement. And that's back line stretch there, and then we'll bring the knee in toward the chest for the last round. And we'll bring the sole of the left foot down. After the last round, get the feet wider than the hips again. Knees fall in, arms alongside the body with the palms up, and take the next 3 breaths here for observation. Notice any significant changes in the physical body or in the condition of your mind.